What if the chaos in your life, the confusion, the suffering, the sense that things are falling apart and you cannot quite get them together, is not bad luck? Not the fault of the world around you, not the result of circumstances you had no control over, but the predictable consequence of living without structure, without meaning, without a clear set of principles to orient yourself by when everything gets difficult. What if 12 carefully chosen rules, drawn from the deepest wells of psychology, philosophy, mythology, and thousands of years of human experience, could genuinely change the direction of a person's life? Welcome to Book Essence, where we unlock the essence of every book, so you get the wisdom without spending weeks reading. Today, we are breaking down 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson, one of the most debated, most purchased, and most genuinely impactful self-help books of the last decade. Let us unlock it. Peterson opens his book with one of the most surprising and genuinely illuminating pieces of biological insight in the entire self-help genre. He begins with lobsters. This is not a joke. Lobsters have existed on this planet for hundreds of millions of years, long before human beings, long before mammals, long before most complex life as we know it. And lobsters, like human beings, establish dominance hierarchies. They compete for territory, for resources, for status within their communities. The lobsters that win these competitions, that establish themselves at the top of the hierarchy, carry themselves differently. They stand taller, they move with more confidence, their bodies produce more serotonin, the neurochemical associated with confidence, well-being, and social status. The lobsters that lose carry themselves differently too. They shrink, they withdraw, their serotonin levels drop, and low serotonin makes them more likely to lose the next competition as well. Peterson's point is this: the neurochemical systems that regulate dominance, confidence, and status are so ancient, so deeply embedded in the biology of creatures that existed hundreds of millions of years before us, that they operate in human beings in ways that are largely automatic and largely unconscious. When you slouch, when you make yourself physically smaller, when you avoid eye contact, when you move through the world as though you are apologizing for taking up space, your brain reads this as a signal of defeat, and it responds accordingly, reducing your serotonin, increasing your anxiety, making you less capable of handling the challenges in front of you. When you stand up straight, when you take up the space you are entitled to, when you face the world with your shoulders back and your head level, your brain reads this as a signal of confidence, and it responds accordingly. Peterson's first rule is not about posture. It is about the decision to present yourself to the world as someone who has the right to be here, who is willing to face what comes, who is not defeated before the contest begins. Here is a psychological observation that Peterson makes in his second rule that is simultaneously obvious and completely overlooked. Research consistently shows that people are better at taking care of their pets than at taking care of themselves. People who would never miss a day of their dog's medication, who carefully monitor their diet, exercise, and emotional well-being, will neglect their own health, their own sleep, their very basic needs, with almost casual indifference. Peterson argues that this is not coincidence. It's a consequence of something deep in how human beings relate to themselves. We know our own darkness. We know our failures, our mistakes, our worst impulses and most shameful moments. We know ourselves from the inside, and from the inside, we are often convinced that we don't quite deserve the care and consideration we so readily extend to others. The dog is innocent, deserving, worthy of care. Ourselves, we are not so sure about. Peterson argues that this self-neglect is not humility, it's a form of self-contempt and one of the most practically destructive forces in a person's life. Because the person who will not take care of themselves, who will not eat well, sleep properly, set reasonable boundaries, pursue their genuine goals, is not available to take care of anyone else either. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. You cannot be genuinely useful to others from a position of chronic self-neglect. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping, with the same care, the same patience, the same genuine concern you would extend to a person you deeply loved and respected, because that person, the one you are responsible for helping, is you. This rule addresses something that most people understand intuitively but rarely act on clearly. The people around you shape who you become, not subtly, not marginally, profoundly, continuously, and often invisibly. Peterson is direct about this, in a way that can feel uncomfortable until you examine it honestly. He describes a pattern he observed repeatedly in his clinical practice, a pattern he also observed in his own life. People who are struggling, who are making poor decisions, who are in destructive patterns, often surround themselves with other people who are also struggling. Sometimes this happens out of genuine loyalty. Sometimes it happens because misery genuinely does love company, because being around people who are also failing makes your own failure feel less singular, less shameful. Peterson makes a distinction that is crucial and often missed. Helping someone who is struggling and who genuinely wants to improve, who is fighting to get better and needs support in that fight, is an act of genuine love and courage. But remaining close to people who have no interest in improving, who actively pull you toward their own level of dysfunction, and calling that loyalty, is not virtue. It's a failure of honesty about what is actually happening and what it is actually costing you. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your progress, who challenge you to be better, who tell you the truth even when the truth is uncomfortable, and who genuinely want the best version of you to exist. Everything else is easier when the people around you are moving in the same direction. Two of Peterson's rules connect so directly that they deserve to be explored together, because together they address one of the most consistent sources of unnecessary suffering in modern life. Rule 4. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Rule 6. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. The comparison trap, the habit of measuring your progress against the highlight reel of other people's lives, is one of the most reliably destructive patterns available to a modern human being. Social media has made this worse by orders of magnitude. You are comparing your interior, your doubts, your failures, your messy private reality to other people's carefully curated exterior. And the comparison is always unfair. It is always rigged against you, because you know the full truth of your own life and only the performed version of theirs. Peterson argues for a radical reorientation. Stop looking sideways, start looking backward. The only comparison that is fair, the only comparison that actually produces useful information, is the comparison between who you are today and who you were yesterday. Are you slightly more honest, slightly more disciplined, slightly more capable, slightly less controlled by your worst impulses? That is progress, and that progress, accumulated day after day, week after week, year after year, is the only kind of progress that actually transforms a life. Rule 6 extends this inward. Before you pronounce judgment on the failures of the world around you, on the government, the economy, the society, the culture, look at your own house first. Is your room clean? Are your relationships honest? Are you doing what you know you should be doing? The person who has genuinely set their own life in order has earned the right to engage with larger problems. The person who has not, and who focuses on the failures of the world as a way of avoiding the failures of their own life, is not making the world better, they are avoiding themselves. Of all 12 rules, this is the one Peterson considers most fundamental. Most people don't think of themselves as liars, and in the most obvious sense, most people are right. They don't fabricate elaborate falsehoods, they don't construct deliberate deceptions, but Peterson draws attention to a more subtle and more pervasive form of dishonesty that almost everyone practices almost every day. the lie of omission, the agreement you make to avoid a difficult conversation, the silence you maintain because speaking the truth would create conflict, discomfort, or the loss of approval, the small distortion of reality that makes your life slightly easier in the next 10 minutes and slightly more dishonest in ways that compound across years. Peterson argues that these small dishonesties, individually insignificant, are collectively catastrophic, because every small lie requires the construction of a slightly false version of reality, and living inside a false reality has consequences. Your decisions are based on false information, your relationships are built on false foundations, your self-understanding is distorted in ways that prevent genuine growth, and the cumulative effect of a life built on small, convenient dishonesty is a life that gradually drifts further and further from what you could have been, and from what you know in your most honest moments you wanted it to be. Tell the truth, or at least stop actively lying. Start there, because everything else, every other improvement, every other achievement, every other form of genuine progress is built on that foundation. Peterson closes his 12 rules with the one that surprises almost every reader, and the one that may contain the deepest wisdom of all. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. This sounds trivial, almost absurdly so, alongside rules about truth, responsibility, and meaning. But Peterson wrote this rule during one of the darkest periods of his life, a period when his daughter was suffering from an illness so severe and so painful that her survival was genuinely uncertain. And what he discovered in the midst of that suffering was something the greatest thinkers across every tradition have consistently arrived at. Suffering is real. Life is genuinely difficult. Tragedy is not an aberration. It is woven into the fabric of human existence. And in the midst of that suffering, the small moments of beauty, of unexpected grace, of simple, uncomplicated joy are not distractions from the tragedy. They are the counterweight to it. The cat that crosses your path, the unexpected kindness of a stranger, the moment of genuine laughter in the middle of a terrible week, the sunset that stops you despite everything. Peterson's final rule is an instruction to notice these moments, to allow yourself to receive them, to let them matter even when, especially when, the larger context of your life is genuinely painful. Because life contains both, always, simultaneously, the suffering and the beauty, the tragedy and the grace. The person who can hold both, who can face the darkness honestly and still notice the cat, is the person who has the best chance of navigating this life with genuine courage and genuine joy. Let us bring together the greatest lessons from 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. 1. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Present yourself to the world as someone who has the right to be here. Your posture is not just physical, it is a signal to your own brain about how to face what comes. 2. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. The self-neglect you mistake for humility is costing you and everyone around you. Care for yourself with the same seriousness you would bring to caring for someone you love. 3. Make friends with people who want the best for you. The people around you shape who you become more powerfully than almost any other force. Choose accordingly. 4. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. The only fair comparison is backward, to the person you were, not sideways to the person someone else appears to be. Small daily progress compounds into transformation. 5. Set your house in order before you criticize the world. The person who has genuinely addressed their own failures and shortcomings has earned the right to engage with larger problems. 6. Tell the truth, or at the very least, stop lying. Every small dishonesty builds a slightly false reality, and a life built on false reality drifts slowly, steadily, invisibly away from everything you actually wanted. 7. Pet the cat. Notice the moments of beauty and unexpected grace that exist alongside the suffering, because they are always there, if you are willing to look. Jordan Peterson closes this book with a thought that carries the weight of everything he has lived. Life is suffering. That is not a counsel of despair. It is the beginning of wisdom, because the person who knows that life is difficult and who chooses to engage with it fully anyway, armed with principles, with courage, with honesty, and with meaning, is the person who has the best chance of making something genuinely worthwhile out of the time they have been given. That is the essence of 12 Rules for Life, and that is what we do here at Book Essence. We take the world's most powerful books and unlock their wisdom, so you can face what comes with more clarity, more courage, and more genuine purpose. If this video brought you value, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who is ready to stop making excuses and start building something real. Every week on Book Essence, a new book, a new lesson, a new chance to grow. Until next time, keep reading, keep growing, and keep unlocking your essence. See you in the next one.